What's up, guys? It's Dominique, aka that therapist. For those of you that don't know me, I am the lead clinician and CEO for a group practice known as Yellowbird Counseling. What is that? What do we do? Well, here at Yellowbird Counseling, our normal day-to-day operations consist of providing individual, couples, group, family counseling and or therapy in the states of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Jersey, and Idaho. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing. We do that day to day or whatever. But what are we doing here on social media? Well, our goal here for social media is to break the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness by educating the general population on topics that we can all relate to and tie it back to how we could all benefit from having a therapist. So if you don't mind us breaking the stigma and you want to join in that effort, please share this live. Share. I'm sure that there is someone on your timeline or someone in your groups or even someone in your text messages. If you click the little share button and click the more options, you can actually share the link to the live. So if you'll do that, then you have contributed to the effort of breaking the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness. And we appreciate you for that, if you'll do that. But that's what we do. So welcome. And hopefully the information that we provide is as beneficial to you as it has been to the people that have been following us for some time now and even become clients of ours so that we can help them better their lives and just be productive, well-adjusted members to this crazy society that we live in with all the trouble and trauma that comes with it. So, yeah. But y'all know for the past several weeks, I haven't been doing it alone. Last week, of course, I was not here, but the past several weeks, I have not been on alone. I have had several Yellowbird ambassadors come through and give us their points of view on the different topics we've been presenting. And tonight is no different. Got another Yellowbird ambassador. One of the ones y'all really like to speak and really like to share information. So without further ado, let's bring her back on again.
Hi.
Hey!
How you doing?
Ooh, you got that hair laid.
In the front.
I love that little shoo. I like it.
Appreciate that. Don't look at the back, but I appreciate that. I do.
I like the color too.
Thank you.
Yes, I love that. See, I always love when a person can rock a short hairdo. I wish I could. I don't think I got the head shape.
Listen, it's all right because it came from the store. This ain't even me. I'm under here.
Yeah.
Here.
We wouldn't even know.
It's all good though.
I love it. Is it like a side piece?
This girl, that's a quick weave here. See?
Ow! I love it.
It quickest. See?
I love the quick weave. I might try a short quick weave in. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining us again. As always, we enjoy having you.
Thank you for having me. I am very glad to be here.
Yes, we love it. So, in honor of Stress Awareness Month, thank you to the interns for bringing that to our attention. Jennifer jumped in and said that she would like to talk about emotional self-care. So tell us kind of what inspired that for you.
Because I need it. Hello.
Me too.
That's me too. It started at home. You know, check on yourself.
And that's where it gotta start.
For sure. So many of my clients know that I too have a therapist. And so we are actively working on my emotional self-care. We're working on stress management, boundaries, all the things that I'm like giving my my clients information about. I'm taking it in too. So yeah, I definitely understand. Like I did my last live about the mind body connection. It's a real thing. And so where I particularly struggle is more so in my head space, my mental and emotional space. Not specifically just like, oh, I had a headache, oh, I had a body something going on. Like I literally have like sometimes a million things going on. And so emotionally, I need outlets. I need freedom. I need relaxation, peace, self-care in that area. So when we were talking about stress, awareness and all those things, I was like, I hear you, Lord. Okay. I can do this. With my eyes closed, I can do this.
Yes. You got this. Yeah. So tell us, what does that look like when you say emotional self care? What might that look like to you personally, and what maybe has it looked like to some of your clients?
So, what emotional self-care looks like to me
Mm-hmm.
is really how I take care of myself mentally and emotionally. Um, and so I have to say that self care is not a one dimensional thing. It's not just, hair, nails, clothes shopping, which I am not opposed to any of those things.
Those are all great.
Because I'm grateful. My head combed, my nails done,
Right.
I'm in a good space on the outside. But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like the sense of like mental space we get in, um, our mental space and our mental health and emotional health is just as important as our physical health. So what that looks like for me. So I'm actually out of town.
Yes.
He planned a trip to Georgia, and so we snuck on across the state line. And I'm in the place now, and it just feels nice to be somewhere different. So for me, sometimes getting away from all of my responsibilities, like they said on Rugrats, all of my responsibilities, I left in Alabama. So it's rare that we get a chance to kind of steal away, but for me this is a excellent type of emotional self-care where I don't have to feel needed, wanted, pulled at, demanded, responsible, all the things that my life entails. So for me, emotional self-care looks like being able to take a break from things that pull at my attention, pull at my energy, um, or things that are demanded or required or expected of me. Like it's just nice to be not needed, put it that way. Um, One of the things that I tell my clients when we first meet is part of my self care is having alone time. So, of course, I'm not alone right now, but it's just nice to still sometimes just have time by myself. A good example of something that I did recently for some emotional self care was after one of the one before last session with my therapist. She was basically just talking to me about like taking time off work, resting, relaxing, kind of getting out of this superwoman uh, thought process or this ideology that I tend to float back into at times. And so, an example of that was we had Good Friday off at the hospital where I work, and instead of just taking that day off on both jobs, I feel it full of sessions.
Oh
Yeah. And when I told my therapist was like, I know you lying. What are you doing? And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't have anything else to do. She's like, that's the point. You don't need to always have something to do. And so for me, I have to kind of work on that because I get in like go mode and just keep going until I run out of gas and wonder why did I run out of gas? So what I had to do was basically reach out to the clients that I had scheduled that day. And, I just asked if we could reschedule. And thankfully, my clients were very accommodating. It was like, sure, no problem. And we just, met at a later date and time. That day, my husband decided he would give me the house, that day. So he went into work at the office and I slept in. I
Lord.
I didn't make the bed up. I didn't really do anything like responsibility wise for real, for real.
Yes.
I ordered food to the house. I even paid the delivery fee. And I was like, this is
Yes.
what I paid for to be brought to me. I sat in the living room and ate it, watched the old Tyler Perry movie. And at some point I got up and went and got my feet done. And it was just nice. Like I felt so good. Like I really, really felt good. Like I felt like a weight was kind of off my shoulders. So that's what emotional self-care looks like, can look like for me. Um, but again, I stress it to my clients too because again, that mind body connection, when your mental and your emotional health is not in a good space, it's gonna register in a downward motion, just like when your physical self is not in a good space, it's gonna register upward and it's gonna show up in our mental health. So
Yep. Yep. And you made a really good point. Just using yourself as an example of the super, like having that super woman just mentality and wanting to save everybody. My very therapist made a joke about that with me, talking about I need to take my cape off. So I understand that.
uh-huh.
Woo! I understand that. What do you, so like for yourself, or maybe what you might tell your clients, that can be hard. You know, relaxation can trigger people. Like like it sounds like a bad thing. So what have you learned about that?
So not with myself included, but also getting feedback from my clients. What I'm hearing oftentimes is when I try to relax, myself or my mind won't give me permission to relax. And so we're almost like feeling anxious about trying to relax
Mm.
because something in us is saying, you know, you need to be doing this and the laundry and the sweeping the floors and the mopping and what y'all gonna eat for dinner this weekend, or what y'all gonna cook, what you gonna cook for this evening. You know you got a project due, like you know you got things to do, you know you gotta go call and check on mama. Like it's like your brain doesn't stop. So it's like it's just you kind of just succumb to it and just like fine, let me just get up. Let me
Mm-hmm.
just do some things so I can stop being in my head so much, so I can have a little bit of like freedom from that nagging, that internal dialogue is saying, if you're not busy, you are failing.
Mm.
Um, that's basically what many of our internal voices tell us, and I don't mean voices like hallucinations, but I mean like our internal dialogue tends to tell us like, if you're not busy every moment that you're awake, you're failing. You're
Mm-hmm.
missing opportunities to do something. And oftentimes we ain't missing nothing. Because the stuff that need to be done more than likely ain't going nowhere. It'll be there once we rest and get back to it. But in the thick of it, you ain't thinking that way. You just
Mm-hmm.
like it feels pressure. And even if nobody says you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, our sense of self still will say you need to get these things done, even
Mm-hmm.
without any external influence.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
mhm.
And so, have you noticed? Because too, another thing my therapist said to me is that's a trauma response as well. So, have you found that at all? For like, if you, and it may not even be like when we think of trauma. Still, I know people think of it has to be like sexual abuse or somebody passed or tragically or something like that. But it can just even be the what we call little t trauma. I use air quotes because if it was so little, it wouldn't be affecting us largely. But like coercion of like cultural or family dynamics of you got to work. I know some of my clients, mostly African Americans, said on Saturdays we had to get up, especially if it was at grandma's house. It wasn't no laying in the bed. You getting up, you doing your chores, you doing things and being productive. And so now in adult life, relaxation doesn't seem like an option because mama or grandmother expected us to get up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So culturally, for me, as a woman of color who grew up in a single parent home with a woman of color, my mom wasn't the person who was anal or very particular about the house being pristine, clean. I grew up in the household where my mama she grind,
Mm-hmm.
so worked at the Urban League, worked at a hotel, worked here, worked there, caught the bus. Like she had a system and she had made things flow. She made things happen, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was rare that I saw my mama take days off work just to send us to school and she stay at home and chill. Like, I don't even remember her doing that
Mm-hmm.
unless she was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And when mama got sick, mama was like in the hospital sick. It wasn't like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she caught a cold. Like, so even if mama didn't say, you can't afford to go somewhere and lay down and sit down, I saw that. And so, of course, I absorbed that. It's like, this how you do, this how you live. Um, which is why to this day I still struggle with that superwoman complex because I saw my mama doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her doing it, but now in her older age, I see the consequences, the results, the implications of that. Living a life on go. So mentally, she's sprightly, young, but physically, her body sometimes is catching it.
Mm-hmm.
Pain, aches, physical health conditions, and even some trauma along the way, even to the point where some of my stress comes from stressing the importance of her taking care of herself. But at this age, after all these years of taking care of other people, she literally sometimes does not know how.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes the conversation literally looks like, did you eat today?
Mm-hmm.
What did you eat today? Swirl cups is not a food, it's not a meal.
Right.
So,
It's
potato
a
chips is not
snack.
a meal, right? But anybody who knows my mama knows she got a terrible sweet tooth. But like it's just been such a pattern in her life, and I also think too that not enough people were checking on my mom to like say, "Hey, are you okay? Hey, have you eaten? Hey, do you need a break? Do you need us to come and watch the kids?" Like nobody really showed up for my mom in that way, and so in her older years, if I feel like obligated to do that, I feel obligated to make sure she's okay in every facet of life because I saw looking back, nobody checked on her. And she
Yeah.
didn't have the space or the convenience um or the wherewithal to check on herself until oftentimes something critical was going on. So I've learned it.
There.
Oh, did it cut off?
It had cut off, and our faces was circles, but now we're back. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. But yeah, but basically I was just saying like for my mom, like there was not enough people showing up for her to really like check in on her to make sure she was actually okay. So, you get the development of depression, anxiety, PTSD, a lot of things over the years that she's still managing and dealing with now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I was saying before it cut out, like just how support system play into self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can be tricky because it may not be a situation where you don't want a support system. They just may not be as readily available, and it may take some extra effort. And with your mom, if she was working so much, she probably didn't have that extra time to maybe seek out like some sort of group or something,
Mm-hmm.
to support her if she didn't have it immediately with like family. So
Right.
yeah, it's important, and we work with our clients on identifying those. What is going on? Okay. I don't know what's going on. They keep doing it.
Okay, I can see you.
So, okay, cool. All right. So, what are some steps, like beginning steps? Because again, it can be a tough thing. And as simple as it sounds, the act of relaxation is not really, if we have this internal dialogue that you were talking about, or just learned behaviors that we've had, or even some sort of trauma response. It could be any of those things or a combination of those things. So, what are some beginning steps that you might start with in order to build that thought process, really?
So one of the things that I do early on in the therapeutic process with me is I give most of my clients a self-care assessment. And I got it pulled up. Let me see if I can
Those are
show it
so good.
real quick. Let me see if I can show it real quick. I
Yeah.
figured it out. Let me see. Where it go? I had figured it out. Wait a minute. Did I get it? And I must have got rid of it. Shoot. Give me like 2 seconds and let me pull it up.
Yes. Please pull it up. No, yes. Y'all, that self-care assessment is so good. I had stole one from the interns.
Okay.
It's great though. Those interns are full of tools.
Aren't they though? Okay, can y'all see this?
Not yet. Did it? Oh, wait, hold on. Yep. Now, because it said add to screen. Okay, cool. Yep, we got it.
Okay. So this is just a piece of a portion self-care assessment. But since we were kind of talking about emotional self-care, I really just honed in on this one now. Um, let's see. Let's see. Okay, very good. I think somebody was asking the question, where can you find them? I found this example or this template online. I will
You can
give
even probably just Google self-care assessment and it'll probably bring up variations of the assessment.
Okay, yeah, because this is a PDF. So most of my clients know when I send this to them via email, I always encourage them to print it off because I don't know how to make it fancy where you can click in it and make it work. So
They
that's
can make it fillable in some fillable form.
yeah, that's that. I'm gonna let the young people handle it. I don't know.
Right.
Um, but what I give the self care assessment because I think the one of the first things that I always tell my clients that before we start trying to move towards like changing something, we got to have some awareness. We got to kind of just see where we are strong, moderate, and maybe have some weak points in terms of like how we tend to take care of self. And I also like to use these things like visual tools and tangible tools because it helps us identify language so that we can say, okay, I'm doing this. I'm taking time off work and school and other stuff. I'm doing my hobbies versus saying, well, I don't really know what self care means or what it looks like. Like this gives you a little bit of language to kind of go off of. So this like if any of my clients are here, and I see a couple of y'all, hey y'all, that are here and probably have already done this for me, but in this section, you can see it talks about like how well do we do with taking time off of work or school or other obligations. I'm a person, I typically, because I act as a caregiver at times for my mother, I typically feel like I have to stay in my PTO for like when she needs stuff versus saying, you know what, Jen, I don't want to go to work today. So
Right.
I'm gonna just be like, hey, I ain't gonna make it in today or planning time off. Like I'd be hard pressed to do that until I'm in crisis, until I'm like I can't get out my bed, or until I'm burned out. Um, and so I'm recently coming out of a burnout phase. So it's like then I took the time off. But like for me in this area, I probably give myself a one. Like I'm not doing the best right now with that. The other one, of course, goes on to talk about like participating in hobbies, getting away from distractions like phones and emails. That'd
Mm-hmm.
be a tricky one. That'd be
That
a
one's
tricky one.
tricky.
Because most of us, if we are honest with the day and age we live in, most of us go to our phone to detach from other things or be distracted. But and sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes things like phone, social media, things like that, they're fun. They're fun distractions. But these type of like social media in itself can be a little bit more on the toxic end when we find ourselves getting stressed about real stuff like real world news, or we just find ourselves comparing ourselves to other people, or wishing that we had, or playing a shoulda coulda woulda. I wish I had this. I should be at this place in life at this age. Look at my classmates. Look at my peers. And so like we got to be careful with it. So sometimes putting the phone down can really be really really fantastic. Other times when we're so caught up in our career, or we're very career oriented, which does not have to be weakness, but when we are so career oriented, sometimes we struggle with separating from work. So we're checking emails. The emails is on our phone. I'm talking about me at this point because my work email is on my phone. But I try to be intentional to not check it because I can get a look. I'm nosy, so I can get in there and be like, I wonder what tomorrow finna look like. Wait till tomorrow and see. But,
Absolutely.
but the other one just kind of talks about, do we give ourselves space to learn new things unrelated to school or work? Like when we're stressed, typically we ain't got the space in our head to hold no more information, no new information, because it all seems like it's too much. Um, Whereas when our stress is under control, we may be more open to learning. Like maybe you want to learn how to paint or draw, or start learning how to, plant plants, or just do other things that you really haven't even had a chance to do, or getting back to doing things that you have gotten a little rusty with. I want to get me a clarinet. I still know how to hold my clarinet. I still know my keys, but I forgot a little bit how to read music. So
Right.
this
See
is some
there?
things I really would like to kind of get back into, but I literally feel like there's no space in my life for that. Anyway, the next one is a very important one. It talks about expressing our feelings in a healthy way. So talking, creating art, journaling. Um, and so a lot of times people have said to me that they struggle with expressing their feelings in a healthy way. Because if you be real with yourself, when you stress, more than likely you're not very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the stress is ongoing or it's real heavy, you don't really want to be bothered. And or we can sometimes learn to retreat into self if we have a history of being burned by talking about our feelings with people
Mm-hmm.
that we thought we could trust, and then it come back to us in the form of gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, you know what? Nope, I'm gonna just keep it in here because I can trust me, but I can't trust y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes talking or writing things down or journaling could be a really good outlet.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I have started telling my clients, which I know it probably sounds very elementary, but I believe this works, is writing things down. I literally believe that our minds, our brains, and our emotions can only hold so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when we feel stressed, that in itself could be an indicator is too much crowding in this space. It's too much crowding. Too many things we're trying to problem solve. Too many things we're trying to find solutions for. Too many question marks just floating around. And we don't have room mentally or emotionally to process, to problem solve, to prioritize. And so I'm really telling my clients now, get some of this junk out on paper. Write some of this stuff down. Like express how you feel, make you some to-do lists, write some things down, even if it's shorthand stuff like work, assignment, deadline, children, husband, car, money, like bills, whatever the case may be, like weight, whatever it is, like his clothes, whatever the things are that's like crowding our mind. I'm literally encouraging my clients to write things down on paper because I believe writing is a little bit of like
Mm-hmm.
purging your mind some. Then we can kind of shift the focus from internal like thinking to vision. So we kind of shifting the focus in our senses. So if I see what I'm kind of working with or thinking about or concerned about, then I might can problem solve and prioritize what needs to be priority number one. Because everything can't be number one, but
Mm-hmm.
stress and anxiety feels like everything got to be number one. And that's hard to manage and deal with. So yeah, so expressing our feelings or our thoughts and or concerns in a healthy way is sometimes a struggle for many of us. This next one, oh gosh, how many of us really are on top of it when we can say, I recognize my own strengths and achievements?
Mm.
How many of us can really be like, yep, I can tell you 3 to 5 things positive about me without no hesitation?
That
Versus,
gets weird.
right, versus me asking you to tell me 3 to 5 or 10 things that you believe or know is wrong with you. That come quick. That comes.
Mm-hmm.
So the emotional self-care goes a long way in terms of when recognizing our strengths and our achievements. So if you are a single parent, and you are doing the best you can to raise your children or your child, and you're trying to work and take care of home and do all the things that comes with parenting and being independent, some days you may feel like, yeah, I'm failing. I don't know why my children are being this way. I don't know why I ran short on money. Like sometimes it's so easy to highlight where we are falling short, especially when other people are depending on us.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to highlight or magnify what we're doing wrong instead of saying, you know what, I can call a spade a spade. I can acknowledge today is hard. This is a tough season, but a tough season or a bad season doesn't make me a bad person, doesn't make me a bad parent. I'm still taking care of my children to the best of my ability. I'm still doing the things that I need to do. I'm still trying to show up for them in every way possible. I'm still trying to take care of me. Of me. And that's a strength. And we have to be careful to not villainize ourselves for prioritizing self, even above children sometimes. I tell so many of my clients that are mothers, like, hey, I know how my mama prioritized us, you know, and everybody's, you know, upbringing and background is different, but I saw how she prioritized us, but to her detriment.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that when we as the individual are in a healthy space, the people attached to us benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
If I literally saw my mother taking time off of work for a vacation, taking time off of work just to chill at the house and not do nothing, if I literally saw that over the course of my life, there's a strong possibility I would know how to do that with more ease versus having to be coaxed and encouraged and kind of pushed into it. So recognizing your own strengths and achievements is not boasting and bragging, but sometimes you need to pop your collar a little bit and be like, I overcame, I'm doing good. I thought that was gonna take me out, but it didn't. Like sometimes we need to give ourselves that space to honor that we have overcome some things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The next one just talks about going on vacations and day trips. So I'm on vacation, thank God. And that's pretty self-explanatory. Doing something comforting. Now, I am irritating, I'm sure, to my husband because I like to watch the same stuff over and over and over again. But for me, it's comforting. Like I already know it. Like all the Avengers movies, yeah. Iron Man, mm-hmm. Certain things on the comedy station, yeah. I listen to stuff over and over again. It's a little ridiculous, but nevertheless, it's comforting for me. I know what to expect. I know like the verbs and the language. Like it soothes me some. Sometimes my husband says I take long showers, but sometimes I'm just in the bathroom for a long time. I ain't in the shower that long. But for me, that's some kind of emotional self care for me. That's why I go to just really be quiet to just kind of decompress. Sometimes I play on my phone. Sometimes I'm just sitting there in the quiet by myself, like just chilling. Just today was man, today was a lot, you know. And it's just nice to just kind of steal away. So for me, that's what I do. But I've had clients tell me I love, you know, taking a bath. And I don't know about y'all, but I just got into shower bombs. Man,
Ooh,
mess around and get me. I found me some good shower bombs.
I never heard of no shower bomb.
Listen, they gonna bless you. You done heard of bath bombs that you put in your bath and then they turn colors and it fizz and stuff. But them shower bombs, that's ministry right there. It's good for you. So and I get the aromatherapy kind, and it's just nice. It's nice. So
I'm
doing
gonna
something
get some of
comforting like
you.
listen, get her anywhere. I went to Target and found me some more. I bought some aromatherapy ones from Bath and Body Works. And they're nice, but don't put them directly under the water because they'll dissipate like real fast.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know, you got to read the instructions because first few, well, I was like, I know I just put something in the bottom of this tub and it was gone. But anyway, um, but yeah, so that for me is a little bit of like comforting for me. Now this next one, I'm gonna do this. This next one, 5 reasons to laugh. Man, I'm probably one of the silliest people you gonna find. I could be serious and I'm sweet, but I crack jokes. I mean, me and my husband, I hope my parents ain't watching because like Sunday at church, we were so typical. He had to walk out. I was like, oh my gosh, you doing so much. Like it was like, I don't even know what we was laughing at. We just get together and we are like complete nuts. So I find reasons to laugh. Laughter literally for me is medicine. I love to laugh. And just to put this out there, if y'all need a real good laugh, look at Eric Mays. This man, he tickles my soul. When he be doing those council meetings, and people be recording Eric Mays, his banter, like Eric Mays is my friend in my head.
I need to look this man up.
Listen, you gonna be red in the face. Like Eric Mays is hilarious. Um, so yeah, I'm smiling just thinking about it because he is so hilarious, and I don't even think he be trying to be funny, but he is a whole fool. But yeah, finding reasons to laugh. This is why I like listen to my Pandora comedy station. I love Ricky Smiley, Lavelle Crawford, Bruce, D.L. Hughley. Um,
Yep, yep, all them. Mm-hmm.
My husband in the comments. Oh Jesus. Anyway,
You knew that man was gonna be in the comments.
I know, but he commented something that Eric Mays is popular for now. They should make shirts. But anyway, but yes, like I said, I love to laugh, going to the comedy club or just being around people that, make you laugh or that you can just be really silly with. Yeah, it matters. It matters. Um, I see that Candace made a comment that says that sometimes moms feel guilty for wanting to take time to herself. Um, and unfortunately, it's a common thing. But I think this is also important why sometimes if we're not in a space where we can affirm ourselves and say we are a person first before we are a mama, like the person first is not a selfish thing. Because before you became mama, you were a person. You were your own person. And yes, now with children, there is an extension of you. But if you still bring it back to the person first mentality, when you are in a good space, when mamas are in a healthy, good space, the children benefit from it. And that could be a way to affirm self. Like if I'm in a good space, my baby's gonna benefit from it. When mama not is stressed out, mama can have a little bit more patience and tolerance. When I'm not stressed out and I'm not overwhelmed, when I'm having, the quiet time that I need, or the respite or reprieve that I need from being a full blown active present parent, I can show up better. My energy is different. I can authentically be like excited to be present and looking forward to the time we spend together.
Yep.
Because children energy be on 100, and then when you keep living and your energy may be waning. You may not have 100% energy no more, but your children don't always understand that, which is why it's very important to take care of self.
Yep.
It's very
Yep.
important. Very
Yep.
important. And
We
if we
even
just
have a mommy support group for those moms having issues for that. We're having our it's a virtual mommy support group and it's free. And we have our next one that's upcoming Saturday at 11 a.m. So if you're interested and you're not already in there, then text the word mom, and I'll give you the number later. But keep that in mind to text the word mom so you can join that, because that's what Joey focuses on, the moms with taking care of their self, so that they can, be better for themselves and then ultimately be better for the kids.
Yeah, yeah. So there, as here there are resources available just to kind of give you an extra, or anyone an extra layer of support, who may struggle with that sense of guilt of I'm supposed to be always 100% of the time excited to see my kids, excited and wanting space does not equate to if I need space, I don't love my kids. Like it's not the same. It's not the same. So what we have to be in a space of a frame of mind to acknowledge and affirm it. Like I am still again recognizing your strengths and your achievements. I am still a good mother. I am still a present mother, but I'm a person first. And sometimes as a person, I need time by myself.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yep.
Nothing. The only thing now that I think now that my mama used to do for maybe 30 minutes when she used to come home, when we all got in the house from riding the bus, from picking me up from elementary school, my brother up from high school, only thing my mama would do before she came home and started cooking and tending to us, she said, look, go in there and change your clothes, work on your homework, leave me alone for 30 minutes. Now, what mama did for them 30 minutes, I don't know. But we did not knock on her door, or we're going to get popped. So, for them 30 minutes, Woosah, she had her moment to breathe. She was quiet. Whatever she did in her room with that door closed, when she came out, all I knew it was time to eat, and we was going to have a good time and look at TV together. So it wasn't a neglectful thing. We just knew to like give mama space. And even with that, like we really do teach people, including our parents, or our children, our spouses, or those that are around us, we teach them how to treat us. So if we can start to show like our children early on, or at some point, really anytime, hey, there will be times when mama needs to be quiet. There will be times when I need you to sit still and honor mama's boundaries. So if mom in the bathroom, mom said, don't come in here. Hold what you got because I'm coming out. When we teach that and reaffirm that, like we are basically teaching or helping to teach those around us to respect our boundaries, which is a part of self-care.
Yep.
So the last one in this part of the self-care assessment just talks about basically, doing that thing that we talked about earlier, talking about our problems. And so one of the things that many people come to therapy about is to talk about problems in an unbiased, safe space with somebody who don't really know them. And I'm starting to call my therapy sessions Planet Fitness because it's judgment free. We're judgment free zone in my sessions. So I'm gonna keep it real with you, but yeah, like that's just what I kind of coined my little phrase. Like this consider this a little Planet Fitness without the machines. Like it's judgment free. It's cool.
They even eat pizza in there.
Well, see, now you reaching because I ain't got pizza. You know what? Let me just keep doing what I was doing because now you talking about food and I ain't got that. But I do have chocolates and I have little candies until they're gone. But other than that, this, like I said, is just an example of the one segment of the self-care assessment that looks at the psychological and emotional self-care. So once the whole thing is completed, and we kind of get back into it during the next session, then we talk about some goals. If the goal is for me, for number one, taking the time off of work, and I gave myself a 1, which is basically meaning I do this rarely, then me and the client will talk about ways to incorporate more intentionality in this area. More intentionality in this area. So for me, I'm a person that I've just had to just face the facts. If I don't write stuff down in my calendar, I'm gonna be absent from somewhere. I'm gonna.
That was a TikTok. This girl said, "If you tell me and I don't say I wrote that down in my calendar, I forget immediately."
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing for me. Okay, my calendar be in my purse everywhere I go. Okay, it's just like my wallet and my ID. It's just everywhere I go, I have to keep my calendar with me. So, I say that to say, like, I have had to start literally writing when I'm going to get my hair done, because if not, it's gonna be bad in these streets. But I literally have to carve out time for me in my planner to say, don't plan nothing right here because you finna go see about you. Same thing with my own therapy session with my therapist. I literally go every other week and I say my therapy, my therapy, my therapy. Because if not, I will fail to show up for me in a space where I'm supposed to be going to see about me. So sometimes when we look at the self-care assessment, once it's completed, we talk about ways to start incorporating or action steps we can take to start improving our emotional self-care. So before I run completely out of time, I do want to see if there are any questions before I give some suggestions and or tips for ways that we can embark upon or engage in different types of self-care emotionally.
Yes, please ask questions. Please ask questions. Also, please share this live in case it could be someone in your text, in your DMs, on your page, in your Facebook groups that may also have questions that they want to ask. And while we're doing that, this is the number for the mommy. Well, this is our number to text. Just if you need us, you can text the word new. But as it relates to the mommy support group, text the word mom to this number. But if you do need individual services, definitely text the word new, or this is the number that you would share with somebody if they needed services to text the word new. So mom for the support group, new if you need services or to reach us, you can text this line. And I have a team that answers those text messages daily. So please share this and ask your questions. While you can, because that's free. You're getting free insight here. That ain't something you can just get like that. So ask us. That's a good question. I think you asked that too before, Magnolia. Is there a group for moms with kids with autism traits. Not specifically, but it definitely is something we can look into. We don't currently have that group. We have them separate, like we have a neurodivergent group, and then we have a mommy support group. So we have like the components, but not together. So, and I don't know of any outside of us. I'm thinking of who you might check with. You may check with you may see that more in like the foster care or adoptive, like therapeutic foster care. Even if your child is not in foster care, that's probably more so where you'll find those groups, because they focus on working with therapeutic foster kids or kids with special needs. So they may like some one of the foster care or adoption agencies may have it. I don't know if they open it for other people to attend, but not anything readily. That's more where you would find that, if they exist, but definitely something we'll be looking at, because that's a good just a good group to have available. But that great question. Thank you for asking that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Knowledge and information and resources are powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't know that we need something unless the question is asked. So very good.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What other questions y'all have? Again, please share it on your timeline. Share it in your Facebook groups that you're in this live, or share it in text messages, or DMs, so people can, get the support they need. Even if they watch the replay, they still can get the resources and the information. And remember, that's your contribution to breaking the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness, to share the information. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-hmm. Very
Yep.
true.
So,
Let's see. I guess I will go ahead and just give a few um, emotional self care ideas that I found on um, a website. And I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. I'm going to share this. So I'm going to look a little bit off camera, but I'm looking at my screen. And so the article is from someone who I think she has a blog, and her blog is named Miss TEA Positive. And so her article that I'm reading from just talks about the importance of emotional self care. And so we've kind of already talked about why it's important, why it's beneficial. We've talked about the mind body connection a little bit. And so this portion of my presentation or my talk with you all is just going to talk about some of the things that we can start incorporating to boost or improve our emotional self-care. Now, um, my favorite B word at this point in my life is boundaries.
yes.
Boundaries. Yeah, I could make a song about boundaries. You hear me? So the article basically expresses setting healthy boundaries will really can really significantly improve a person's sense of wellness emotionally and psychologically when we set boundaries. And it basically just says that when we have healthy boundaries, they're not just for other people, they're for us too. Okay. It boundaries help to us to determine or um I guess determine what we are okay with and what's acceptable of ourselves and the people around us, like how we want to be treated, how much we're going to cater to demands, things of that nature. Okay. The next one suggestion is also in line with the boundaries. And here comes another favorite word that I'm learning to eat and give out every day is no. Learn to say
Yes.
no. No. Okay. Everybody say it with me. No.
No. No, no,
No.
no.
No is a sentence. Yeah. No is a sentence. Okay. No, setting healthy boundaries and saying no, they buddies, they hold hands, they cousins, because no is a boundary. No is a boundary. Okay. Now, how you express your no goes into another different type of like how you communicate. Because it could be a passive no. It could be an aggressive no. Or then it could just be an assertive. No. Mm-mm. But nevertheless, however you need to get your no out, sometimes get your no out. Learn how to say no without an apology. Because sometimes you say, I'm sorry, but I can't. No, we're not sorry. We're just not able to do that.
Right.
Mhm.
For
So,
whatever reason, it don't have to make sense to the person you're saying no to. It just has to make sense to you.
hmm hmm right, exactly. Now, the next tip just talks about gaining acceptance, right? Now, we unfortunately have very little control over many aspects of our life, per this article, which is also includes our emotions. Sometimes we can't help what we feel. That being said, sometimes we literally have to accept that today was not the best day. I ain't feel my best today. Like we ain't gotta be mad at ourselves about it, but we can literally just learn to like accept, like, you know what, okay, I was in my feelings today. I didn't perform my best. I just been stressed. I just was not my regular usual self. We can accept that. Because honestly, sometimes we can't just snap out of it. Emotions are not light switches. We can't just be like, oh, let me just go change this fuse and then I'll be okay. Or let me flip the switch up and I'll be back happy again. Like emotions don't work like that because we'll be robots and we're not robots.
Exactly.
Um, okay. The next few basically just say, and I'm going to peruse through these real quickly. The next one just talks about allowing yourself to let go, right? I had a person call me earlier today, or I spoke with someone earlier today, and they were basically telling me that their spouse is basically beginning the process of transition. And is it's basically time to kind of get the house in order, get some things in order. And I was basically telling them to ask them how you process and how you handling your emotional state right now. And they were basically saying, I'm just trying to be strong. I'm trying to be strong for my spouse. I'm trying to be strong for our kids. And sometimes being strong ain't where it's at. Sometimes you literally have to let yourself go. Sometimes you literally have to just let the tears fall. Hoop holler scream. Like sometimes we literally just have to have the meltdown. So once it's out, we can try to pull it back together. We literally have to give ourselves permission sometimes to say, you know what, you ain't gotta keep being strong like this. You literally can let these tears fall, guilt free, shame free, whatever that looks like. Being strong all the time, that ain't we ain't made like that. That's really unrealistic expectations we put on ourselves or we allow others to put on us. So allowing ourselves to let go is important emotionally, but also learning to let go of things that no longer serve us. Sometimes we stay stuck in places or in situations or relationships and attachments that ain't serving us, but we have gotten so relaxed and comfortable with the chaos or the feeling of being unfulfilled, we don't know how to let go. But that's a whole sermon by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, the article just encourages allow yourself to let go. This next one just talks about the importance of self forgiveness. Self forgiveness. Sometimes we be around here stressed and overwhelmed and anxious because we're worried about or heavily convicted about things that we have done or that we permitted. These could be things that were recent, and some of these things could be really, really old. But self compassion and self forgiveness goes a long way. And yeah, that takes work. Yeah, it's individualized. Yeah, that's something that if you're in therapy, that's something that you and your therapist can kind of break down how to operate in a space of self compassion. Um, the article goes on to just list another suggestion or tip: practicing gratitude before you go to bed. Typically, when we stress, we don't know how to turn off to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes instead of saying the day was horrible, sometimes if 99 things went wrong, but one thing went halfway okay, let's just be grateful for that one thing that went halfway okay, instead of going to bed with a lot of heaviness on our minds. The other one just talks about leaving. It says people frequently overlook the fact that this option of leaving is always available. You don't have to put up a happy face all the time. So if you need to kind of steal away to express your emotions, wipe your tears, express your frustrations in a different space, like give yourself an out sometimes. The next one just talks about embracing your feelings, avoiding negative self talk. Avoiding negative self talk. That is so paramount in terms of building our emotional self care. How we talk to ourselves, how we deal with ourselves, that self-criticism, or what the article calls toxic perfectionism.
Mhm.
That's no good. That's no good. We got to check that. If you notice you doing it, check it. No, ma'am, no, sir, we not doing it. Like that's not okay. Unplugging, of course, is one of the things that we kind of looked at in the self care assessment. Journaling is another thing that was listed there. Some people like to do vision boards for visualization. I wouldn't mind doing one, but I just don't know if I have the concentration to do that just yet.
Right. That's how I
Um,
feel about them.
but I mean, they seem nice, you know. So if it works for you, you know, knock yourself out. Get you some magazines and scissors and tape and glue and arts and crafts. It's just that's not. I don't know. I can't do it right. The next one, the next few talk about brain dumping. Basically, like I said earlier, writing things out, purging things out. Listening to music can be helpful. Set aside some quiet time is another one that's very important. Now, if you're a person who like, if I get quiet, my mind gonna kick off, and I'm gonna be stressed about all the things, I'm gonna think about all the things, then maybe that music might be a little bit helpful for you. So sometimes the
Mhm.
quiet time may not be beneficial if you know that you tend to ruminate and get in
Mhm.
that habit when it's too quiet. Okay. Reach out to someone you love is important. Someone you love and someone you trust, because sometimes them two different things.
Mhm.
Um, so if it's a friend, if it's your therapist, if it's somebody that you know that you trust, like a family member or someone else, it could be a phone call, a text message, or any method that you feel comfortable with. Sometimes just reaching out to somebody. Sometimes you can just put on a smile. Even when, like, you ever seen anybody with a sad smile? And sometimes it can be unconscious, like a little bit of a sad smile. But sometimes smiling, even if you don't feel happy on the inside, can give you a little hint of a boost. Even if it's temporary for your emotions and your emotional self care. The article just goes on to list use of positive affirmations, which I'm very big on. Some people use scripture, some people use their own phrases, some people find other areas or ways or avenues to kind of pull in positivity. But I'm all for using positive affirmations. Okay. Reading is one of the healthier distractions or ways to kind of get your mind off other things, sharing your emotions. And then the article also talks about fidget toys. I like that. I got a fidget toy at a conference I went to. Um, let's see. A good couple making me. Yes, yes. Crying, listen to you. Crying is not bad.
Mm-mm.
If we were not supposed to cry, we would not have tear ducts. I believe that. You hear?
Yep.
Tear ducts are not just for onions when we cutting over the sink. No, I do believe crying and shedding tears can be a form of purging and letting go of hurt that is stored up that needs to come out. So if we are frequently crying, of course, that in itself could be something that you might need to kind of check on. But if you feel full and the tears need to come, I don't really think anything is wrong with it.
Right.
Unless you like me, who have to give myself permission to cry and say, "Stop trying to be hard and let these tears fall now." Like, yeah. But yeah, I do think
Yep.
crying can be a healthy coping mechanism because it's a form of release, especially when you're
Yep.
stressed. Okay. Now, like I said, the article talks about fidget toys. And then the last one just talks about pampering yourself, or letting somebody pamper you. This is why I let them people work on my feet. And I felt a little bit sorry for that fella, but he earned his income and that tip that I give him because my feet needed deliverance, and I'm so glad that he worked on them and he was nice about it. Um, it was nice. Give them a massage, or just not even if you got somebody that can just help rub your feet, because my feet swell sometimes. Like sometimes having my feet rubbed and my legs rubbed, like after a very long day working on a hard hospital floors, like pampering yourself can literally just kind of help release some of the stress that you may feel, not just mentally, but also physically. Like learning how to do some of those things. And if ain't nobody around, like I said, shower bombs, bath bombs, long showers, long baths, reading. There are other ways to, pamper yourself and give yourself some relief and some type of healthy out. Um, Even if it don't fix the things that's stressing you out, sometimes we need the relief that comes from self-care.
Yep. Yep. And the important thing is to do it consistently. Don't think you could just do it one time and that's supposed to be it. Like a lot of my clients I have on a daily self-care regimen or daily relaxation regimen or a daily anxiety coping regimen, because these are things you have to do where you might do bigger things once a month or whatever, once a quarter, whatever. There's daily things you want to do so that you can keep your overall baseline of wellness good and your stress and anxiety lower. So
Mhm, mhm. So
yeah.
yeah, that was all my information. I didn't want to talk y'all to death this evening, but that was
No, we love it.
it that I wanted to share. And of course, if there are any questions about anything that I've shared today, you all are open or welcome to, drop them in the comments.
Yeah. And Magnolia asks, is shadow work self care? I would think so, especially as it relates to emotional self care.
Hmm. Oh
Yep.
yeah, oh yeah. Now
Yeah.
with that, I know some people tend to do either some meditation, prayer, journaling, doing things like out in nature, going to, I don't know, are y'all familiar with like a sound bath? Um, Sometimes I think one of my Facebook friends went and did a sound bath
Ooh.
a year or two ago, and she just told me how like therapeutic it was. It wasn't any talking; it literally was a sound bath, and I was
Oh, wow.
like, I watched some videos about them. I was like, if I can get on the floor and let them do a sound bath like in this group, I might be like okay with that. That might be all right.
I need to check that out.
So, it's just a sprinkle of like a possible resource or an out that may be helpful. A sound bath. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And finding what's best for you, because it's probably a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that I have clients still that I've worked with for a long time. It's, they're like, oh, I can't find the time or I can't. No, we got to be intentional about,
Mm-hmm.
the things we can control. You can control an off day. You can control, if you are going to lay down and go to sleep when you need to, those are things that you can't control. So sometimes you're not even aware of what you can control. So therapy is a good space to help you figure out in your personal situation what can work for you and maybe what haven't you considered, because like Jennifer has said, you maybe haven't given yourself the permission, or maybe you hadn't even seen the behavior done to even fathom doing it. So the
Mm-hmm.
therapist can help you figure that out so you can learn new skills so that you can learn how to care for yourself and your emotions. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And the only other thing I would add that just kind of popped in my head is, if you are struggling with figuring out when and how to do emotional self care, it may be worth looking at incorporating more structure in your day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we have a lot of responsibilities and we have a lot of things going on, sometimes the day runs us.
Mm-hmm.
The day and the responsibilities and the duties just they take over, and we're just like we're chasing the day. And I find myself doing this because of the work that I do in two different, locations in two different spaces. And so yeah, that can definitely be stressful, but incorporating routine and structure can really be helpful. And so if anybody's like wondering like, well, what would structure look like in terms of like self-care? Something I've been talking to my clients about lately, time blocking.
Mm-hmm.
Time
Mm-hmm.
blocking. I've got clients who are college students, who are in high school. I've got clients who are in the workforce, and in different spaces of life with children, no children, single male, all the different things. But if those of us that are struggling at times with emotional self care or self care, period, sometimes we have to create space. And in order to do that, sometimes we need, again, a visual representation of what our day needs to look like. What time we
Yep.
getting up, what time we eating breakfast, what time we're gonna take our showers, what time we leaving the house. And it seems a little anal at times, but honestly, sometimes it is helpful. So we'll know, okay, I got a break to look forward to. I've got something to give myself a little bit of a reprieve before I get back into something or before I shift gears and go to my next thing. This is why when I work my full-time job at the hospital, I try to create at least 30 minutes or an hour of time where I'm not a professional in either setting. I try
Mm-hmm.
to have a little bit of time in between. Because I need it. I need it
Yep.
to kind of debrief and then re-engage. So that's just again one of the suggestions that kind of popped into my mind about structure and maybe time blocking to help you become more intentional until it becomes habit.
Yep. 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 I love that. And that's for the perfectionist. That's a big homework assignment. With my people that carry a lot of responsibilities, they want to be perfect at it and maybe even have some control issues. Time blocking and delegating are two big self-care things, and that's two big boundaries. Jennifer was talking about boundaries for yourself too, as and also boundaries for others, but sometimes a boundary for yourself is time blocking and only allowing yourself to do something at the time you have it scheduled for. So I'm a big subscriber to that. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. As always, this was great information and very helpful. I'm sure not only to me, but the people listening. And so please, guys, share this, because if it was helpful to me and it was helpful to you, it's probably helpful to your mama, your sister, your cousin, your daddy, somebody on your timeline, an associate, a coworker. So please share it so that you can contribute to the effort of breaking the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let Jennifer go and enjoy her vacation. I'm sure we will see her again. But as always, thank you so much for your contribution.
Of course. Well, thank you, and I enjoyed everybody. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your evening and a wonderful weekend, and just stay safe in these streets.
You too. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye, y'all.
Bye. All right, y'all. So there's that. So again, please share this live, and we'll have another installment of how to take care of stress management, as it is Stress Awareness Month next week, and then be getting geared up for Green May. What's Green May? Well, it's Mental Health Awareness Month in May, so we're going to be getting geared up for that. Definitely, if you have anything that you might want us to talk about specifically to honor Mental Health Awareness Month, go on ahead and text the word live to this number. And if you've already texted the word live to this number, then go on ahead and shoot us a text of maybe some topics you might like to touch on in May or have us touch on in May for you. For Mental Health Awareness Month, and we will definitely do our best to get that on the roster as we do prepare for our May live schedule. But until then, like Jennifer said, y'all have a great evening and a great weekend, and we will catch you back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Mountain, which is 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll catch you then. And definitely, if you need us for any services, text the word new to this number. If you're looking for the mom group, text the word mom. If you have any ideas for what you would like us to cover for May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, text the word live. Or if you've already texted the word live, go on ahead and respond to the text thread and tell us what you'd like for us to discuss. And we will see you all soon. Thank y'all for your support. Thank you for your shares, and have a good evening. Bye.